Today I want to talk about a master key. When I say a master key, I mean this is one thing that if you don't have, it's going to make success, progress, getting what you like, achieving your goals almost impossible. If you do have it, it's going to practically ensure, given enough time, given enough circumstances, that you will be successful in whatever you're going after. The reason I know about this master key is because I did not have it for much of my 20s, and me not having it in much of my 20s held me back considerably. I think about what I was able to do, what I wasn't able to do, look at the people around me, friends, colleagues, what the level of success that they had. Looking back on it with 2020 vision, it's insanely clear that this master key was at play, both in what was going right and mostly what was going wrong at the time. As I introduce this, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. In order to tell you guys about this, I wanted to, give it to you guys in a story. Right out of college, I had one of these great jobs working at a Wall Street bank, a top 10 investment bank, bulge bracket bank. I remember that, I worked my ass off while I was there. It was insanely rigorous. And in the entire time that I was there, I took exactly one day off. Even working like crazy, there was only one day I took off. And the reason why I took that day off was because I was an analyst and I had two associates that I was working with fairly closely. They had pulled me aside and they had said, Michael, we want to give you some feedback. The way that they had said it or something, I kind of got the impression that this was not going to be a warm and fuzzy meeting. At the time, I was so against. It was like such a strong repulsion to anything that contradicted me already being awesome and already having it figured out, that the day that they were supposed to give me this feedback, over lunch, was the only day that I had ever called out. The entire time that I was there. It's pretty wild. I could not take any feedback at all. If anybody was trying to tell me something was wrong, it would be met with aggression. It would be met with absolute contempt. Any type of criticism that came my way was not going to go well. Because that wasn't going to go well, things didn't go well for me because, I wasn't able to hear, I wasn't able to accept, I wasn't looking for, obviously, there's some criticism, there's some correction that's unavoidable. I mean, if you really want to improve, go seek out that criticism. And it was the exact opposite, for me. And it really doesn't make sense if you think about it, because if, say you have something wrong with your car, a mechanic tells you of a little thing, a quick thing that you can do to fix it, and you'd probably be really happy, to learn that information. When it comes to little quick fixes in terms of our strategies or the way that we think or the things that we do, we identify with it, and so it becomes an attack, which is absolutely ridiculous. One of the big ways that I turned this around, I owe to the influence of a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck. I came across this book. It was absolutely astounding. If you guys haven't heard of it, in the very least, watch a video that gives the basic Cliff's Notes. Actually, here's some Cliff's Notes coming to you right now. And what Carol Dweck said is that you could break down somebody's success really based off of their attitude of whether they have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset towards whatever thing that they're working on. You might find that you actually have a growth mindset about some parts of life, and then you have fixed mindset about other parts of life. So for example, I always loved cooking. Even in my 20s, I would kind of look for criticism about how my food came out, because I knew it was only through criticism that I'd be able to improve. And I'd always challenge myself with recipes and dishes that were out of my league, out of my skill zone, because I knew that that's the way that I improved. That was one area where it was insanely growth mindset, and that's the reason why my cooking improved so much. There was tons of other areas where it was purely fixed mindset. My career prior to entrepreneurship is a perfect example. It was just mired with this, not wanting to ask a question because of fear of looking stupid, always wanting to have the answers immediately. No one could basically tell me anything about my personality or the way that I was approaching things. So huge part of my life had a fixed mindset and was unable to grow. Entrepreneurship, I think, is one of the fastest avenues or the best training grounds for personal growth. As one entrepreneur told me, it's encounters with reality. You might have this vision of how great you are or how valuable you are or how awesome your ideas are. Entrepreneurship allows you to basically brush that up with reality to find out how true that actually is. And in many respects, you're going to find that things don't work. Your grand schemes, your grand plans, they're flawed in a myriad of ways. And the only way to correct them, if you really are committed to making, your pursuit of a business successful, the only way that that's going to happen is if you identify those mistakes and you correct them. And guess what? Nobody else is there to point out your mistakes for you. There's no boss who's checking your work and is going to tell you what's happening. Instead, you have to be proactive about it. You've got to be proactive about finding your mistakes and then finding the solutions in many respects, which means seeking out entrepreneurs, seeking out mentors, being an autodidact, constantly looking for solutions. To close this video out, I just wanted I wanted to share this with you because I think it's going to be insanely helpful for a ton of people to really consider, their relationship with correction, their relationship with feedback. If you are somebody who notices this about yourself, because to a strong degree, because I do believe that everybody, still has the aversion to feedback, regardless of where they are. It's whether it's like really, really strong or really, really weak. But take a look at that. Take a look at, why is it that feedback isn't considered progress to you? Again, if you had a mechanic tell you that something was wrong with your car and how to fix it, that would feel like progress. That would feel like, oh wow, I'm getting further, I'm fixing my car, things are getting better. How come feedback doesn't feel that way for you? What's really at play there? I encourage you to check that out. If you like this video, subscribe. I'll see you next time.